Hey guys, it's Tarkin coming at you for another game of Total War 3 Kingdoms. We are here with the Empress, Zheng Jiang. Now you might ask yourself, who should rule China? Should it be the strongest, the richest, the person with the most food? Well, why not that single person rather than anybody else? Now, the battle lines are drawn, and it's actually pretty awesome here, right? Where you have the Kingdom of Wu, led by the Empress Wulie, ruling in her own right. Sun Ren just hanging out there. And Sun Ren, run. I can't say anything right. It doesn't matter. And the Kingdom of Chu under their umbrella as well. So, like, a very, very solid Wu empire there. And then Cao Cao getting squeezed up here. And now he's trying to make his way to the north. But even Chu's doing well. Yeah, if it weren't for me, because they had, vassalized Liu Cong and stuff over here. So, I mean, there was like a Shu historical block there, doing okay. So it's pretty cool how if you just do away with all the people in the north, the people in the other regions tend to shuffle out. But so diplomatically, Ma Teng would pay us tribute, and so too would Cao Cao. The War of the Empire has kicked off, so, accepting tribute from Cao Cao, only when he's not the king anymore, right? We're just trying to get back to our side of the river. Because we want to behave judiciously here. We want to provoke them to action. And what we're going to do that is just move here and go to ambush. Don't have to worry about supplies because of reasons. Even though it's winter, we're at plus 30 in this army. We end up going just -2 even though it's winter. So good stuff there. What we want to do here is rush this bandit building, of course, because getting your good towers is just so important. Sure, it's technically a lot of money, but who is counting? We are so wealthy. Also, good evening, Luke. Now that Kong Rong's finished, plan to play another of your offered played factions. You and Shao? Gonna get your vassal ball going. Alright. Nice. Alright, and then here, despite our superior forces, they predict a crushing defeat. That is very obviously not gonna happen. I just want to make sure that we've got some equipment here, because since I know that I have a whole bunch of stuff, anytime we go into an army where I'm like, have these guys... Wow! Okay, I'm sure I read this the other day, but plus 35% chance of capturing enemy officers post-battle is really a huge boost. The campaign movement range when commanding is very good as well, and should put him in charge of it, if only it weren't for how good night battle is. But, we'll be able to get our, you hit an axe, the trebuchets down, and then your trebuchets. Think about not exiting Hanfu, annexing Hanfu. Well, Zheng He is crazy strong, and that geomantic mastery that gives you the map-wide strider, which is impossible to get, when you're fighting the snow, is real. That's something to give up. But I guess you do have the possibility of not having your neighborhood war kick off too hard, and that's cool too. We want to drop this to a level 8 city because level 9 city provides us no functionality. The Grand Temple of Confucius. Well, we're going to call it the pretty good Temple of Confucius. It doesn't do too much for us here, does it? And obviously the industry buildings are no longer of any use since our places can't make money. But they can make equipment. I'll just take the land. Sell to Liu Bei. Yeah. Wonder how to make the right novel. Well, give me excuse your favorite. It's not really available. Ah, yes. Well, you know, that's the tricky thing. Because, you know, part of the compelling nature of the setting, right, is that it kind of makes sense for everybody that fights to fight. You know, self-interest does get you pretty far. And here, we delegate this off.
天下就安定一分。欲成大业，必先有立足之地。
Now, in point of fact, do we need to do this? It doesn't matter. And they'll be able to reinforce there, and they'll be there. Lady Liu gets to level 6. Which entitles her to one of the fine Qin peacekeepers. Alright, on this front, we've got this army. We just need to swing to the north because Zhao Huyun and these guys just got absolutely schwammered by Yan Yan here, who we do need to get out of share the spoils. And they would have run out of loot out there, or rather, you know, a bit of it. And if they go to try to press against this army here, well, first of all, I don't think they will. But now, like this army, you know, we don't really benefit from going inside there. Just spin up one here. Like, I don't think they're there, and they aren't. Because I think these are, like, the only armies up here, really. Oh, he's trying to come across the river there. Well, that... You know, we really should have spun one of these armies off in that direction, huh? It'll be okay. Rebuild the coalition and actually go after him properly. That's awesome. How fun, right? What if we did our job? All right. Good stuff. Everyone's done their thing, and Zheng Jiang is besieging Hondanchong here, who, you know, is having a lot of fun fighting for other people. His local silk income is wasted here. But here's, of course, what we really want. The God of War. Well, we should be so lucky. Yep, there you go. He makes it across the river, as feared. However, it's hardly a foothold, right? This isn't a port. I should have remembered that he had a port there. Same plan set, see how long you abandoned it. And here, Dong Peishon, Yuan Huan, and others all get caught out here. So this dude has his Imperial army set up there. So, you know, definitely worth trying to grab him. But, you know, a 2v1, well, you know, this just works. We're just gonna auto it. I'm sure we will get a battle of scale before too long, right? And as fun as a bully 2v1 where one of their stacks is just Archer Militia is. And let me be clear, that is very fun. You know what, Chensu, we're just gonna let you stay there. I bet you'll be every bit as useful to Cao Cao in his faction as out of it. But these attempted incursions across the river to defend what Cao Cao believes to be his land, what he perceives to be inside of his patrimony. But, you know, I mean, everything the light touches is his kingdom and all. But it's about to have a sunset. And we will see more of that because our armies in Korea are blooded, right? They are ready to go. They are no slouches. They've got good weapons and armor, strong mid-level heroes that are ready to brawl, you know, and there's like 7 of them. So our forces in Korea probably represent enough power to beat Cao Cao on their own, and what they're going to do is reinforce a very good strategic position with other armies that are already there, and it's going to be a beat down. It's going to be great. And we have gotten some things. We lose a bunch of money. One of our tributaries has passed on into history. The Empress is level 8, and you know what that means. A new weapon is constructed, a new bow forged. Well, first it means that we get Poison Blade, so that's pretty nice. And what's the second one? Loot is less important here. Guerrilla deployment, yeah, I think we take that. I think we take that right away, even though speed would be good. And yeah, fatigue resistance doesn't matter. This army's fatigue immune. Because guerrilla deployment here, that lets her, once we swap in to Protectors of Heaven, which I assume we get a level 8, you know, then we'll be able to just stuff the front with some really, really hardcore dudes. And then probably swap over some of Cao Ren's things. You know, he's got the elephants, and then we'll probably put some Shen Peacekeepers over there. And, you know, maybe a invisible red cav or 2 for the Imperial army. And we're still rocking the 1 White Horse Raider. You know, why not? They do have fire arrows, of course. And with their nice 250 range, it's just a good thing to have. And, of course, you gotta have a trebuchet. Speaking of, Li Zhua is here now. I guess he is heading the efforts here. Oh, they don't. Oh, that's right. This is the Nanmen place. I was like, they don't have Bastion artillery. They do not have Bastion artillery. And well, we're gonna see how that works out for them. They also don't have the proper range to fight against our very, very stalwart guys, so let's get on to it. Theoretically, we could take the auto, but we haven't done a battle yet, and this one will be fun enough. And in any case, this will be a map that we're not likely to see too many times in this playthrough. As an abstraction, we're not that interested in going into the Nanmen lands. We're perfectly happy to stay here, beat them up when they come out, right? Because with Liu Cong's forces being split in the Jing province and then coming over into Shu as we are there, and then his forces over across the river, though, in Ba, I think it is, and so on, like, it would be much advantageous to us to have him over there clashing against the Nanmen as a state that, you know, can't do too much in the long term, and then Alright, so we've got big towers at the front, and then it's lots of small towers on the inside, which we will be able to burn decently enough. We're just going to wait to get to it. Our army is fatigue immune now, which is just a really fun sentence. I love saying stuff like that. I'll never get tired of saying stuff like, my army is fatigue immune. Gotta be one of my favorite genres of sentences. Bum 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 bum. Yeah, I think their tower was actually too smart. Yeah, their tower is too clever to shoot at my Watchmen of the Empire with their 95 missile block. It's a shame. But oh, he's crazy. He's got the berserk thing. Madness is a trait you can get. He's got the blue blade, a bodyguard, and a water clock. So how do you acquire the blue blade early? Did you get Zhao Yun as well, and that's your way of crowing about it, or because surely they won't trade it off. You buy it outside on turn 1. Oh, that's right, Zhao Yun only gets it, you know, in the longer term. You buy it off him before he makes anybody get it equipped. And now we're gonna trade shots with crossbowmen. Qin Royal Guard into regular crossbows is the matchup you want. Now what we're doing here is not the matchup we want. We're actually taking rather a lot of damage on the approach, but you know, that's you know, it is what it is. We're not that afraid of Archer Militia, of course. And then we come in to fight Liu Zhua, which should go very smoothly. Yes, it does indeed. Time for the ranged block chance, and then we're gonna try to toss the nope. Alright, yeah, he zoomies his way back in, but now the real troops are here. Now you get the Imperial not restored this time. You know, I feel like Yuan Shao wouldn't want to in most timelines I can imagine, you know. Because his, like, strong dislike of the corruption, which he identifies with the eunuch faction, sure, but, like, fundamentally, we know as gentlemen is a facet of the state, right? And not of the people in charge of it. Like, you're not incorrect when you're one of the people in the timeline who's like, there's something wrong with the Han, you know. There is, indeed, something very wrong with the Han. And it's certainly not the Emperor's fault, right? But how far are you going to stretch the legitimacy of a fallen house, right? Like, well, you already have a concept of the Mandate of Heaven being a thing you can lose. By what metric would they not have been losing it in this timeline, right? But there could be another, a better person to rise. Fortunately, the Qin peacekeepers are, you know, they're taking their shots. They're doing their thing. I think 4 of them's too many. I feel like 2 would be a lot better for me. The Zhanbei headhunters are freaking out. Cao Ren falls off his horse. It's okay. I'm like, I'm not gonna take the auto. I bet I can do better. I mean, maybe this is better. You know, Imperial defenders are no slouches. And, you know, they're like, you know, like a level 6 character thing, I think, you know, and for that matter, you know, Li Jue is not like some miniature guy, and Han Dunchong is a guy who's, you know, level 5 or so. So this is quite a legit fight, and a good one, too, to, you know, mark the likely southern border of our kingdom here. Let the non-Man tribes have their lands so long as they are willing to continue sending replacement elephants whenever I lose an elephant. Speaking of, we need to get in here and rescue the queen, Empress Lady, because she is surrounded by yellow cav. Hardly the worst thing, but not so good. She doesn't have that much, you know. And then, you know, towers, blah blah blah. Very important. Gonna get in there here. And charge it up in this direction, which of course, as we the Qin Royal Guard, I'm sure, laying a lot of good firepower down. The Trebuchet, of course, getting 150 kills before they run out of its range. Nothing like a Trebuchet. Except a Juggernaut. I'm the Juggernaut, sir, they will say as soon as we recruit them. And we get a downhill charge into the Imperial Guards here. And flank here. Fortunately, we'll be able to run in this way. And then over here, we take the tower. These are the White Horse Raiders. There are 4 of them left, so we're just going to stay here. You know, they're likely going to get eliminated anyway. Han Dunchong fighting Yellow Cav. We'll see how he likes it. These are the Qin peacekeepers, of course, so they are very, very stalwart in a fight, and he's just a strategist after all. Even though he's a fancy one with decent armor, still just a strategist at the end of the day. We're going to be able to jump on this tower here. Oh, we never brought the elephants in. Whoops. You know, the elephants would have been real good in that blob fight. I forgot all about the elephants. You know, it's about sending a message.
我的事迹四海传扬。
Oh. 50% damage all forces when defending. It's like the opposite of my lady's trait. Li Jue, you are 70, and an interest of our long-standing friendship. I will let you go. I mean, my personal one with you as the Gate Pass Guardian. What a guy. Also, you have a good mustache. Don't make us have this talk again.
我们拼死夺下此城，理应将其占。
And Guan Yu bounced off over here, I suppose.
那就快点吧。
Guan Yu, I wish to speak with you. Please call me back.
绝不动摇，正在行进。
前进！大人，有何吩咐？
That reminds me. Yuan Shao needs a wise strategist to travel around with him. And who better, I ask you? Oh, who better? Alright, so what are we thinking? Like 6 trebuchets? And then we just get some, 4 of them and 2 Royal Guard. That means, of course, that we need more brawling dudes to protect the trebuchets. You know, it's super messy. We don't really need this peacekeeper here, do we? Why not a nice defender of Hebei? You know, let's get one of these Dao penitents instead. Why not? So we'll have the elephant aura, and then we can do that one, and then our little blob will be, you know, better. And you know, because Yuan Shao is still hanging out with his eunuch. You know, he's got a lot of thinking to do. So you don't know why I see me show you start with Mount Archers. You know, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I guess they just wanted them to give him something thing. Bum, bum, bum. Five melee evasion. I adore the sound of that. What's one more hybrid? Indeed. Ooh, look at that. And, Zheng Miao, the Duchy of Zhongwu, this man, this is like the librarian dude? Yeah. Or the artist. I'm like, this guy has become a duchy with no land at all. How do you even get prestige with this faction? I love to see it, though. I mean, if he was a bandit, then I would understand. Ying Shao's library. And that's right, the purple flag over there by Kongrong.
恕我拒绝。
心怀忠正。我等心怀忠贞，才有此胜。现在来尽情庆贺吧！现在这里归我军所有了。
Poacher gets to mending, also at level 4. It's time for you to retire your bandit gangs.
"居安思危，未雨绸缪。
迈向胜利。
And from here, it's an easy auto. And we are really crunching. You know, that's the thing. You know, he didn't want the sport. He sued me for peace immediately. And right now, he is like openly willing to pay me tribute without reservation and would give me a lot more. However, counterpoint. I can't like have him being an emperor, right? It's not. Because it's not our wish to like subjugate the entire world. We want everybody to pay me, but they can't go around like calling themselves an emperor. That's sort of my thing now, and we are willing to press the matter with anybody who wants to like think that they're allowed to call themselves something cool. You know, they should know better. But imagine the surprise of Cao Cao and the Empress Wulie when a bunch of invisible Koreans show up with invisible elephants in tow. And they're like, oh, okay, the one invisible elephant, I thought that was enough. But will they stop at nothing? No, they will not. They will not stop at nothing. They will stop it at far more. Alright, 3 defenders of the Empire is too many. This army needs to be... You know, as cool as it is to have White Wave veterans still, buddy, you know, like, we're kind of past them. I mean, they're fine. They're actually really good, right? Because they, you know, because they've got the missile resist and some shields, but... But Shiliang cavalry, I feel like that's like, if you're not going for the Qiang Marauders, then you go for them for like, you know, to have just like a worse thing. Why would we go for them? Yeah, I guess you would. Yeah, you know, they're slightly more armored, but not in a way you would care about. Yeah, but this army is very, like... vary from Once Upon a Time. Let's upgrade it, but in a way that suits it, right? We don't need... Did we get the Slayer Heroes, guys?
聆听春日的甜美歌声吧。
I don't think we recruited them yet. Oh, they must be. They're probably the one that we're doing right now. I'm not opposed to him keeping some of his... You know, we might as well. I mean, after all, they're like his identity. It's not like we're going to keep the White Wave veterans who, unfortunately, are totally superseded. But, you know, once people get to level 8, you know, they're going to get more Imperial anyway. And we need to get this commander to be somebody else, but whom? Sauron hits level 7, beautiful. And of course that will get us so much closer to the thing we've never been able to really do. Now what we want to do here is... So at level 8 we get both of these, but the ranged block chance of Odin Retinue, oh yeah, that's worth getting right here anyway. Night battles for that army is much less important. Oh yeah, we've got titles to hand out. Why don't we? Like, what shall his... You know, the Iron General, that's plenty good. That's a good title. Because she's, like, quite old, so we need to prepare for it to change, but also, you know... This is the Army of the Invisible Elephant. Like, do we want to get Zhang Kai in there? Boom, baby. Tranquility. Because I just love these yellow turban generals. I think they're so cool.
怒吼吧！快去！
I don't particularly want to do that fight. This guy is going to be able to potentially reinforce. Well, no. Why is this so... because it's got veteran things, heavy crossbow. And yeah, this is, they've got, like... Got quite a good garrison there. Makes sense. And they have plenty of supplies, not inhibiting them at all, I suppose, but... I think we'll just wait a turn.
大义将临，
Honestly,
莫敢不从。
doing a siege against a garrison that's only just like a little garrison and
吾
doesn't
等
even have
大
a
义
hero in it.
必将降临此城。
doesn't feel like what I want to do right now in this playthrough. This army's awesome and I love it.
准备出击。
Now Zhao is like right here, right? So we need to get out of here. We'll go to share the spoils, but we're not going back inside. Because he's got 2 stacks here. They're very, very beat up, but you know he's an emperor, so they'll be back soon and in adequate enough numbers, one would imagine.
挽弓预设，则屏息凝神，静下心来。
And Zheng Jiang needs another beatdown.
稳住阵
He
型。
is our boy in perpetual need of a beatdown.
我还以为你死了。
Oh, when he got vassalized over that. Well, let's see. See how that protects you, buddy.
全军出击！
There he is. But yeah, up here in Ba, of course, that's like such a big travel distance. And trying to go across the river here is pretty annoying too. And we know from experience that defending these places is actually amazing. If we keep the same map, especially because it's really twisty and turny and your towers get to do a whole lot of work, and because there aren't walls, they funnel into these choke points that are somewhat easier to deal with, for me anyway. No, unfortunately. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're keeping it. I just read the top thing on this red building that we took. +3 seasonal retinue deployments. Now that is super amazing for us, right? Because our retinue deployment now is like, you know, 5, and that's going to add 3 more to it. That is so good. I'm so glad I read that and didn't break the building. Definitely something to look out for in the later game as a bandit, right? When you're taking these things, is do we have one of those mustering grounds that gets the bonus there. Now we're gonna march here.
做好准备。
And on this front, we just want to roll them up here. And we know that we just beat, like, all of Ma Teng's armies. We do, however, need to go and deal with this one still.
释放怒火，消灭敌军，讨平乱贼，澄清四海。
And at level 4, you get no percent chance to get caught on your assignment, so that is good. All right, spy stuff. Now she's got this mistrust thing where it's actually easier to do stuff to her faction right now, which is very nice. Oh no. That's right. It didn't. We didn't do the interference, or we did interference, but it didn't change that. Well, you know, they might catch him. They might catch him. Well, at least this guy is going to be able to discredit the faction. Alright, so plus 30. We need 30 plus what we have to be able to do this safely. All right, so 65 is the cost, not 35. Ah, I see. That's from assignments. Doesn't cut those. Well, that's good. He's got the general one's got it. We've got. Everybody's moving up there. Our forces on this side of the river are precisely where we want them to be.
向前进军。准备伏击，坚如
Zheng
盾
Jiang
牌
there，and
势
Zheng
如利刃。
Jiang here. And we're just gonna go into ambush to try to provoke Zhang Yun here into coming. Ah, Kuito. Do you remember, Kuito, back when we were young and you used to pay me tribute? Wasn't life better then? Why would you go to Cao Cao after so many beautiful years of paying me tribute? It's hurtful is what it is. It's hurtful.
立刻群敌。定国安民。
Speaking of, it's time to move here and try to provoke them to combat here. If they want to, like, move up and take the farmland, we'll just, you know, deal with it. But we will also do our bandit patrol here. Maybe it's not level based and it is instead like, oh, they're probably linked to the cunning or whatever, right? Maybe it's difficulty plus that. So like if somebody has, you know, higher cunning, like maybe this guy does, you know, so he's good at scouting. Yeah. We'll just see more of what's going on there. Because we want them to keep coming across. That would be very nice.
迈向胜利。准备伏击。
It's tied to escape chance. Ah, okay, okay. You know, I wondered about that because... I kind of try to remember. Because, you know, as I grow up, you know, on hour 430 of gameplay or whatever, and, like, start trying to be like, what if I used the assignment in a different place? What if I did something that wasn't the filial and incorrupt, which of course I can only do once satisfaction is achieved. Unimportant. Moving on.
摆好阵势，准备出击。
Lower upkeep for spear infantry. Naturally. So now we have, yeah, plus 69 from local infrastructure, so basically, even if somebody gets really mad about something, that plus the lack of ambition for higher office, it means everyone's basically going to be at 100 unless somebody hits it, I think, yeah, the entire thing. Even the babies are at 100 satisfaction, and if you've ever met a human baby, having a smiling face on them 100% of the time might as well be the mandate of heaven. So I can say that it's a very good thing that we are a faction of both ambitious and good mothers, you know, because these babies, you know, maybe some of them are murderers, but at least they're all happy. Speaking of ambitious, Yan Yan here just wants to move forward a little bit. Oh yeah, get our eyes on him here. Now level 8 on Zhao Huoyun. You know, they've been fighting for a while. They are nearing their final forms, as am I. But we're just gonna go to ambush here. I don't think they're trying to move out here. I think they've got eyes on enough of us to feel like they don't want to do that. Now, ideally, they both turtle here. We hit this, move over this way, march Zhang Kai's army over here to Pingyuan, and then just rock that out, and then sweep the leg, and, you know, keep on rolling it up that way. Now, this guy still has movement here, and Zhang Yan needs to be taught a lesson. The lesson is, it's awesome to pay me. Right now, he says never, but he might be able to be convinced. And Motong will be happy to push into a tributary range eventually, but I mean, like, we'll let him have Wudu, you know, because the money doesn't matter. But we're not letting him have, you know, a bunch of stuff. We're not ever letting him get, you know, online again. He's going to stay at home. You know, Ma Yunlu can speak for the survival of her family. I mean, obviously, every one of them that wants to join us can join us. But, you know, even though her dad's a bit of a jerk, and even though she's fond of understatement when describing him that way, you know, that doesn't mean, after all, unironically, it is not our ambition to control the world. We want to get paid by everybody in the world. We have a couple more tribal recurve bows to hand out. That's right, this guy doesn't have anything decent. 25% charge bonus all infantry and own retinue. Nice. Line of sight when commanding. Fengyue, who's like, you know, she's in the crew, right? She's been with us for ages, 12 years. She's a very important lady. All right, some items tossed around there. He's got his Chi of the Imperial Guard. That's a pretty good one. All right. And then, you know, 2 hours later, no, it's part of the amazingness of the embarrassment of riches that we have here, right? But that's the thing, if you can find a place to build a bunch of forges, which of course you can't, even with the plus 75% to industry, like, can you really? But here we go. It's time for the Fist of the Bandit Queen to ascend. Man, what guys? What total and absolute guys? 330 charge. Do we need Watchmen of the Empire? I mean, I honestly don't think so, right? I honestly don't think so. Because, like, how we normally would use, like, a shielded unit, that's not really important anymore. Right? We don't need our line to stand there and let them crash against us. Like, we just, like, can go in and get there. I mean, one of them to stand in the front is fine. Do we need two? We do not need two. They do have huge AP damage and 230 charge. I mean, like, when these guys charge somebody, like, if they charge a horseman, I mean, it's amazing. But that's not anything that a defender of Hebei couldn't do, you know. Which, what a cracked stat line. With 300 charge, anything starts looking pretty good. It's just where we're going right now. No, to the right. Okay. Alright, good stuff. This army is about to be very fun indeed. Like, do we need the White Horse Riders? I mean, I'm gonna go with yes. I mean, just because, yeah, I mean, a unit, White Horse Raiders, a unit of, you know, poison / fire arrows is always going to be good. You know, one of them should be in all the armies. Not least that those have been with us through many dangers now. Alright, over here. Time to get dressed up for war. All right. Man, that -5 from the failed promise is really tanking my relationships with everybody.
不只能忍了。我等慷慨仁义，你却要拒绝。
Keep in mind, Luke. Keep in mind, as I'm sure you are already, though, that 330 charge is before the 100 is added, and we know that's going to go through a multiplier. So it is likely going to look more like 500 when we're on the attack. And of course they cause terror, and wouldn't they? I mean, I think once you get past 500 charge on an infantry unit, they should cause terror anyway. It's about to be a glorious time here. And half of them are going to be invisible, and they're all going to have guerrilla deployment. So much fun. But keep on taking your little minor settlements here. I mean, who am I kidding? I hate them every time they take them away. And here,
暂且撤退，保存兵力。
you know, anytime we can retreat, I want to do that, right? Because we just attack them afterward, and then we get plus 100, you know, charge bonus. There's no reason to ever defend as a bandit, right? That should be the law of the land, right? You know, always run away. Bravery is for the fight after you meant to do it. Masu, you know, I want to say I suspected you were a spy all along. But some of these people we definitely hired knowing they were spies, just thinking the high satisfaction might help us keep them. Look who it is. It's nice armor. If he's winning melee combat, becomes immune to fatigue. Avenging Strike, Binding Fury. You know, it's a tree that will make his father proud. To hit to negative 100 melee evasion is pretty decent. Of course, you would want a fast attack to make that workable. Now, you're almost certainly a spy from Zheng Jiang. That doesn't mean we can't keep you, right? And honestly, it just means we, you know, maybe it's the time now. It's the time to eliminate Zheng Jiang. At long last. After all, he's stopped paying me a few times now, which is hurtful. We've already established how hurtful it is. And when we eliminate the faction, the fact that he's a spy will be irrelevant. Zhou Ying runs away. Bravely runs away. And this guy won't even reinforce the town. Runs away. Pathetic. Bum, 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 bum.
此城甚善，先收下了。
But let's finish up the tribe confederations, right? Because that's what we represent, right? Like, we represent an alliance of the Korean tribes and all of the northern tribes and all of the people of the north, and indeed all of the people of China that want to live a life of carefree banditry and don't care too much about doing the math as long as the tribute keeps rolling in. No ranged units in your army? Nice! You know, with those very solid green green units Yuan Shao gets, that seems very good. Alright, Deluge, no. Yeah, might as well. Using Stifling Deluge is such a tricky thing, right? I'm pretty sure he's not up here, and he isn't.
诸位举杯相庆吧！我军势力得以扩张。
Isn't it just a beautiful map? knowing that our lands here are just like safe as safe. It's like you can just get this port and you're like, well, if we see him over here, then we know we'll have about a year to get stuff ready.
恕难从命。此为苍生黎民之天下，非暴虐诸侯之天下。要保持清醒，立刻群敌，烈火燎原。
But here we are rolling them up. Our invisible troops are doing
成
wonderfully.
天所助，我军必胜。枝芽新生，茁壮成长。拿起武器，为了天下苍生。下之于地，上参于天。 放他们回家去吧。月光普照，心存信念，心有所欲，因而导之。
Alright, so hit level 4 here. Insurmountable Pillar. This is the one where he gets very, very punchy for a while. Yeah, 3 uses. 3 uses, like, I'll look at an ability and I'll be like, oh, it has 3 units. And think,
打起精神来！
or 3 uses for it, and think, oh, that's not so good. Like, I want to be able to use it 1,000 times, but like, if I am playing, how many times am I gonna use it?
杀呀！
We're gonna build a granary here, because this is gonna be like, you know, we'll have like an army here, an army here, an army here, and those will be like the 3 defending this part of the north eventually. And then like army here, 4, 5. I mean, I guess, if we push further out, we hardly need like a stationary force. We need a little bit against Gonsundu, or we could, you know, get rid of him, or form an empire with him. Because we could totally do this. And, I mean, he doesn't like us, but he doesn't hate us that much. And he's already trending towards being neutral. Because getting him into the Empire would be good. You know, that would represent at least some success with our diplomatic overtures.
深思熟虑，总能达成一致。你能接受，我心甚慰。
We'll just wait for him to trend a little bit more. And then approach him with an offer. Because, you know, we can trade off some of this land here. And then he can join the Empire. And once he doesn't hate us, I don't think he's going to start disliking us anymore. Because then we'll be fighting common enemies. And then he'll have no choice but to love us like everybody ought to. Masu, are you a spy? Or did you go back to the pool and they didn't want you back because you were so bad at being a spy? I'm a genius. Oh no! I think that's what it was. I think he got caught, and then they're like, "You can go. I don't care. He can come back." This guy's from the I faction, not my Mars.
荒芜之地令人不安。回归原状，出发。
And here, you know, if they move up to take Bahia or whatever, you know,
拿起武器。
okay, good for them.
智者可巧避刀锋。此地正合我等计策。意志，把大家都叫来。
But they'll be
我要
better
上
in
头
no
计策。
time. So what is your stack looking like? Are you using like 2 captain retinues with melee dudes, or are you just doing like two dudes in a captain retinue with it?
"真喜讯也！
And Feijan here is now willing to pay me tribute. I'm like, I just met you, but, you know, I'll
真是
take
倍
it.
感荣幸。
Looks like he doesn't have any land. He likes me. Well, you can marry one of the... I mean, if you like me, then we can marry one of these... Your daughters to... She is called the Mercenary Princess, though, so maybe... Yeah, let's find... Masu, who's probably a spy. No, Mateo, who is a nice dude. 4 warriors of your 5 of the young daring infantry, 1 defender of the bay, 4 melee cav and torch militia first. Nice. Yeah, here you go, Mateo. We have found you a wife.
"好，准了。
The Mercenary Princess. Yes, not afraid to take up her blade and fight. Normal abilities, into the breach, because she's a bandit. A bandit princess at 39 years old. Well, you know. With a name like the Mercenary Princess, I thought she should be with us. And I'm just glad these people wanted to pay me. I'm sure they won't be around too much longer, but hey, you know. I'm sure that if you thought you were on your way out, and then the Empress came knocking asking for tribute, you might think too, oh, we should pay them.
心如止水，气聚。
Of course, now that we have this land, we have to worry about looters, but, you know.
威加海内，乱世遂定。
Things are going well there, and here we just...
我军必胜，把谋士叫来。
实乃渔夫之行也。团结一心，准备急行军。百姓汇于此地，但建设不能懈怠。天下宿命，尽在我等。
Now, a couple of our units aren't ready for this fight, but... Well, the other ones are. Does this mean he's gonna, like... come to attack me here?
奉其牺牲，
Well, as fun as that would be...
绝不留情。
Now, hopefully it's not going to be oathsworn to these people, but at least there's no one here that's definitely going to be oathsworn to him. And, you know, he's got yellow dragons there. He's got some decent stuff. Look at all those abilities. But, you know, if he wants to shoot at us, we'll shoot right back at him. I bet we do better in the long run than he does against us. I bet that because we're gonna let him shoot at Cao Ren a little bit here. Like, he's got missile block? Of course he does. Because this is the great thing about our army, right? I know I can make them upset. They absolutely are not going to be able to just trade against our early harass. Guan Yu turned his shoulder and then got hit 4 times by the outrageous arrows of fortune. You know, Cao Ren really just regrets that he didn't get a chance to duel him. Let me at him! Let me at him! I'll take you both apart. I'll take you both together, he said. But he didn't really mean it. And there's our missile block that we needed. And now they run into some of our crossbows, but we've got a layer of them, and the other ones are doing just fine. And they're trying for a really deep flank. We just need to push through with our heroes now. Because the Protectors of Heaven are having a great time. You know, sure, we didn't actually charge with them, but we will. Bum, 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 bum.
敌将受首，贼众溃不成军。
我的事迹四海传扬。
I wish we could get the wolf pack.
俘虏也要吃饭。
Go on, you. Who would do this? Nobody would do that. No one in the history of the world would do that. Not anybody named me. I just like looking at it. I just like to look at the weapon.
力求上进，怒吼吧！我等威名，如今海内皆知。
Well, buddy, I release you again. I'm sure that the next time we meet, you'll remember my kindness.
正在行进。 坚如盾牌，势如利刃。
Ah, what a beautiful sight. You know, the natural boundaries of the rivers do cut quite a lovely picture as we approach them, do they not? Do they not?
振作起来！
And these forces not entirely healed up, but we just want to get them into March, get them moving. Alright.
准备作战。保持原样。
This army beat up.
正在行
But
进。
if we go to ambush here, we may well be able to provoke them to come out at us. Which, you know, they've got some real heroes here, right? Liu Zhen, of course, doesn't have his bow anymore. The Empress is carrying that around. Ask him how we got it, that chump. We took it from him fair and square in battle, of course.
潮起潮落，足以磨平巨石。
Ooh, there we go.
发动农民，
These guys have fallen into our trap,
保
right?
持原样，折而不摧。
Speaking of our trap, does anybody have night battle here? Well, he's got chance of ambushing. No, that's just if he is in the thing. I'm like, I bet no one has it, right?
待时而发。
Yep. That makes sense. It is okay.
为天
We don't
下
have to
苍
have
生
it. They are in a big beat-up spot here, because what we have here is a perfect scenario. This guy's on the river, can't get inside. We hit here. We got plenty of movement to play with too,
定
right?
国安民，
We go here. This guy's in March, can't run. These armies are... Oh yeah, this one's totally beat up. This is the one that we got earlier on the other side of the river. So a very casual auto there. Say you're also a mage Wangun, so you know, it happens sometimes. I feel like in so the last run or the one before we picked him up, and then he like had madness, which is the only reason I recognize Li Shua with the berserk trait. Vessels can give you land? Oh. You know, that makes sense. They just like show up like, hey, by the way.
快去！讨平乱贼，澄清四海。
And here, at 40, does that give us a chance to get back in here? Because this army is mega beat up. This dude is level 8 though, so this is the army that we would like to roll up before it gets in. I think we can do this. Oh, we get reinforcements from the town, so very low reinforcements indeed. And popping that is very good, and hopefully we'll be able to get or execute this guy. You know, he's too dangerous to be left alive. But we don't capture him, actually.
他们受的苦也够多了，都是为各自信念而战罢了。莫要急躁。力求上进。
We'll just go like here. And I think due to movement dynamics, because they don't have trebs, right? So they can't instantly besiege it. So this is going to allow us to get put back together. We don't need to share the spoils there. We'll do it here. Fit of Jutai. Apostrophe S spear. Yeah, you know, what a great spear, and what a guy who always carries it. It's a man what inspires us with his adherence to carrying his unique weapon directly to me. You know, there's just some stuff I like about myself a lot, you know. Like, I like that when I see a spear like that, I see Liu Qi and how he could be a hero, even though he only has, like, 45 armor, right? You know? So thanks, Jutai, for letting me see that in myself. I'll always remember you as the reason that we got to have a super good run with that spear.
满怀信念，奋力一战。
And, you know, with 2 captures and releases on Guan Yu now, like, I bet he joins up the next time we capture him. And, so much the better. So what if it doesn't make a lot of sense? I'm happy. I'm sure the Kingdom of Wei is just thinking about a lot of things. They've got a lot going on right now. I mean, Cao Cao's really going through it. You gotta feel for him, right? You gotta... Like, 1 minute, everything's going well. Alright, and here, this is exactly what we wanted. We retreat. They're not going to be able to catch us. He's not with them, and we are the real thing. So, yeah. And Cao Cao is the reason why, you know, the brand got broke up. This fight, you know, as always, the bandit rule is, you know, retreating is better. Because anywhere that they go to fight us, that just means the next turn, because we know where all of these setups are. We have a really good idea of where these opposing armies are, and a pretty high degree of confidence that they're not going to be able to do a follow-up onto us after the retreat. Which is great. Like, you know, I finally played on this map enough to know in certain segments of the map, I'm like, no, he was at the edge of his range. Because when you can do that, that's when you really start getting into a good spot fighting against the AI, right? You don't want to move into their land. You want to move at the very border of it. Because then, if you provoke their attack to opportunity, then you get to sweep back up knowing that you, you know, you've got them out of position. And since we have huge bonuses to attacking and absolutely no bonuses to defending, and we're bandits, so much the better.
我要消灭你。
Queen Zhurong, I bet instead of eradicating me, you'll actually pay me tribute soon.
谈谈贸易吧。
Oh, Fei Zhang, you want to give us a mercenary contract? Fascinating. I'm like, that's right, you,
你自找的。
You're paying me tribute, and you like me. But I guess at this point, even though we've got, like, the negative 100 or whatever, as long as we're fighting somebody that somebody, like, really hates, then they're likely going to be cool. We get up to 3 million. Suits of armor and the like are being forged. And Simuyi, the Silver Eminence, is a happy, happy, happy guy. Right, on this front, yeah, because we have a max cover of 195, which is very good indeed. But we're going to lay an interference down, and we need 65 to do this one. But we just start busting them up. And here, Ponlin, you know, we'll extract him as the time goes on. And now we've got, yeah, a level 6 turncoat in the Kingdom of Wu, which we will discredit the faction with, and then extract her next turn. You know, we're seeing here that Wu isn't as happy as they're pretending. If we can just... Today Wong Kwong has honorable diplomatic behavior. Isn't it cool how things can go differently? You know, the Kingdom of Wu, you know, it's hanging by a thread there. They're hardly as happy as it looks. And we're just pointing it out to them.
没什么好谈的。
Yeah, negative 200 from faction influence.
路就在前方，集中精神。
定国安民。保持原样。 向世人宣告我军大业，
心怀大道。且等敌人中我军埋伏，路就在前方，集中精神。恢复
And
原
here,
切莫动摇。
力求上进。
we're gonna see if we can
我绝不动
provoke
摇。
them to action, and if not, we're gonna have a huge battle anyway, right? I don't know if they'll try to walk into this. I think they won't, but it will stop them from walking forward, and that's all right. Because on this front, we need to
正在行进。
support. He only has the one army over here, I think.
静候。
大步向前，
尽中有诈。杀呀！淹没他们。
And here we make it in, which is of course
胜利源于悉心
gonna
谋划
render。that scouting sort of. Don't said close and change. You're not. Yeah. Oh yeah, you know, just a hop, skip, and a jump.
斗志重燃，激情更盛。
You know, just because somebody else gets rid of Dongzhuo doesn't mean that the Emperor's in a good situation, right? Clearly, some changes are still needed to the Han. And it's probably the capture chance increases the more distant it is from your own land, I imagine. It's like if we wanted to... Oh, well, maybe not. Maybe there's just something going on there. Like a character that increases the chances of catching people or something. So, here, you know, and now, you know, they're getting their level 8s going on, you know. They're, the plot is indeed getting thicker and more difficult to stir. Li Zhu of the Sweet Dew Sophistry. Well, it looks like he's very old and would make everybody like us better. All the Han Empire factions, you know, as long as he's around. Probably a spy, but you know, doesn't matter. He is cunning and deceitful. Level 1 after all these years. Go like so, and now here, these fools are going to see that they've made a terrible, terrible mistake. As we very casually rip up this incursion. That's the thing about overextending. Like, you don't just cross a river with a bunch of troops without a plan that's gonna work. What you had was a plan. That doesn't mean it was a plan that was gonna work, and you just saw the difference between the two ideas. And with our big reinforcement boost there, we push him further into the no man's land, right where he doesn't want to be. Beautiful stuff. Really good use of space. And just what we want to do.
唯有扫清六合，天下才能平定。
Sun Quan's here. You know, are you broke? No, you're just in a dumb place. It's like, wait, no way, is she broke? No, she wasn't. But, you know, she is in a wealthy spot, you know. The lands that she has are rich as rich. And the position she's in, if I was playing Wu, right, even seeing what Zheng Jiang was up to, I would be like, yeah, I'm fine. There's like a river and another river between the two of us. But on the attack, of course, we get more of the charge bonus, and so the auto comfortably hands it to us. That's why you run as a bandit. There is no need to not run as a bandit. You can hire Zheng Jiang, do I? I mean, in a general, the coalition kind of way, I don't see how it would be that much of a problem to reform one more bandit, right? Like, a bandit who stopped being a bandit is common enough. He was kind of a semi-big deal of a bandit, though. He was hardly like just a guy, so maybe... Yeah, I mean, I would.
我的目标十分明确，开战！
I mean, I guess we night battle not to, like, cut that one off of them so much as just to give them more of a morale cut.
只要我等不屈不挠，便是锐不可当之师。
我等齐心协力，
I'm
必
feeling
能克敌
snacky.
制
I'll
胜
be。right back.
我已经等了如此之久。
All right. Zheng Jiang says, I have long awaited this. I believe him. But we have absolutely had it with him. Now, it looks like his bandit network is not as filled out as ours. It's like the toppest of trash talk tiers for bandits. Bro, is there even anybody in your network? Alright, so they can't get through that there, so this is just where we want to be. Looks like they do have a couple bows of their own. But of course, with our superior 100% missile block ability, got another armored strategist here, and our missile block is about to wear down here, but having to take some shots at him. Zheng Jiang will also be a good target for these bows, but $971 charge on the Qiang Marauder, 408 on the Hidden Axes. Decent. Boom, 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 boom. I want to see 1,000. I'll do my best, man. I'll do my best. You know, this is hardly a premium army. Oh, you're about to have a bad time. They call him a champion. We'll put that name to the test. But they are crashing against our forces and breaking just as quickly. Failing to get a charge bonus there feels bad. We're not going to fail to get this one, though. Getting in here and here, on this side here, into the center here, and here. Need to get away there. Already cracked this. They're running, and we you just sweep the middle all the way up to the center. Gorgeous. Gorgeous. And that's what it looks like to have an army so higher in class that your enemy that you look like you're good at the game because of it. Did we play this right? Technically. Did we outclass them by a factor of 4? Yeah. Brutal.
敌方部队四散逃窜。
Rolling over them there and there. And of course, the terror route is... Terror plus night battle is incredibly funny, right? You take all of the bonuses that they had accrued and they all go away.
又进了一步。
But, you know, this is the level of technological innovation that makes you deserve to win, right? Right.
敌方士兵正在溃逃。
Manifest mandate. Never should have come here. And crucially, of course, we, like, man, hidden axes are so good. I'm like, and they're barely beat up. 2 of those units could have fought another 1,000 dudes.
我等心怀忠贞才有此胜，现在来尽情庆贺吧！我军势力得以扩张，说话小心点。
Not only is he so mad at me, he's like, I will not confederate with you. I will not have peace with you. Oh, I hate you so much.
满怀信念，奋力一战。
I'm like, well, you
坚
know,
如盾
sorry.
牌，势如利刃。
It really bums me out. I always hoped we could be friends. And of course, we're in the neighborhood to deal with the looter incursion, because if you don't have, like, a full army, then the looters will make you upset. I mean, not me. What do I care? But, like, if you cared about your lands, which, I mean, I'm a Bandit Queen. All lands are my lands. I'm just passing through.
动如涟漪。
Take what you can, give nothing back, and all that.
正在行进，吾有要事与谋士商议。
And she is in a most inconvenient place here. We're just gonna go around the road this way. We're not chasing the other route into the silly place.
扫平天下。
We'll get our negative supplies
我绝不动
there.
摇。
就走这里。
摆好阵势，准备出击。路径明晰，准备伏击。
为了天下大义，
Pushing them up that way. This army we will likely leave down here, right? Just to, now that she's one level higher, she can get dramatically better units. Not really a need for those yellow cav anymore, right? You know, someone has to be down here to show the flag against the Nonman.
那就快点吧。
And that'll be him. I like that tribute is like a better than a peace deal. I guess because it's like, look, sure you're gonna pay me, but have you considered?
你能接受我
Alright,
心甚
so
慰。
here we can. There, I mean, maybe this one, not this one though. Trade those over. Because I don't think he would dare to go against it. Yeah, you know, and then we'll have an empire.
我方接受了。
And it'll make the map look better than being gray, you know. The little yellow in there. Plus, I'm pretty sure...
新进城
Yeah,
策
so
天下
Empire,
世纪
that
可
is
变
how it works, right? You can just go and take a piece of it anytime you want. That's what I thought I remembered, but yeah, that's what an empire is to you. So you can, if they start getting some holdings, you know, if they take the dwarf holds or whatever, you're like, all right, why don't I take that? And he still is paying me tribute on top of being in the empire, and that is the ideal, right?
请坐。
Trending positive, and hopefully... Yellow turbans also just get them by default. Okay. But here he is. Oh, and now we got a little empire thing. Oh, just to let it's another badge, but it's nice for us because now we've got our little dragon badge on there. Now that I'm seeing the little dragon badge on there, I'm like, we need to get an empire in every playthrough, even if it's just one guy, right? That is very nice. Wang Yun did not go crazy this time. He is not going to be berserk like whenever I had him. I didn't understand it for a bit. I was like, is there something in his tree I didn't see? But there wasn't. It was just the incident.
他们必会中此圈套。
And here, we're just going to go to ambush here just to get a little more put together. Although maybe, you know.
向前进军。
Well, they're gonna have Bastion Arts. I bet. Ooh. Ooh. You know. They do a lot of work against us. It's not like our units that are beat up being tough here would be units strong, because the thing is that the headhunters are good for popping guys and, like, he's hardly anything, you know? I mean, I guess we'll just... Said he would go back, yeah. I was surprised because I felt like I'd seen him in battle before. I thought maybe it was a mod change, but... Alright, we're just gonna see how aggressive we can get away with being, right? What could go wrong?
做好准备，顽强不屈。
准备开战，抓紧！前天卫军，前天卫军，速速前进！
I think the treb just gets melted here. Maybe if we get a little closer, that'll help. We'll just give ourselves the missile block. It's like, yeah, we get in here and then it'll run away to the fear.
准备就绪，开始登城。
And we're fatigue immune, so all we need is a hole in the wall, or we can just jump up on the wall, and none of that matters. So that's exactly what we're going to try to do here. And the Imperial Palace crossbows are on the internals there, so that's okay.
做好准备，前天卫军，杀！
停住！
时机已至，使劲杀！
Bum,
准备
bum,
就绪，
bum.
开始登城。 前天卫军，
注意，诛灭敌军！
速速前进！
准备好了，
注意，高不在快，慢慢死吧。时机已至，准备好了，在，准备开战，挺住！
And wow, the Protectors of Heaven getting absolutely mauled by... I think it's just that there's a lot of repeating crossbows sinking shots into them. Probably a good bit of the tower fire too, but...
敌军上楼夺下来了，放箭！
You we just need to be sure that we are identifying where these crossbows are firing at and getting our damage in.
射击敌军，
顽强不屈，
前天卫军，注意，加快脚步，顽强不屈。
And a Wisdom of the River, that is very bad indeed. We have got to get her.
教训，刀不再快，慢慢死吧。
But I think Zheng Jiang just, yeah, lost her horse.
前天
You know, we might have blundered pretty bad here. But we're going to be able to hit a bulwark, like, right now.
我坚如磐石。
And that'll at least get us in a good spot. For this, our guys on the wall here are... Yeah, you know, we might have lost this.
敌军仓皇逃
Too
窜，
aggressive.
以擒懦夫。加快速度，做好准备。
Too aggressive. But maybe it'll be okay. Because Zheng Jiang's not that beat up. And if we get in here, then the Protectors of... I mean, we still have a couple hundred Protectors of Heaven.
加速前进，注意，积极
And then I'm pretty sure she's about to lose her horse too, because I am a dummy. Oh my goodness, we've got to run out of there. Okay, yeah, that's it's way too much danger to be dealing with. There we go. Well, I tried to use the ability from over here, please.
做好准备，准备就绪，鼓起勇气。快跑，准备好了，杀光敌军，太平卫士，等候军令，进攻。
听命。
Oh no, not into the breach, guys. No, no, not there. I thought the gate had been opened. It hadn't been. The Imperial Palace crossbowmen are trading shots with us now. This is good for them. Not that good for them. We have shields on the Qin Royal Guard, which do make it a very solid matchup. And then here, you know, our guy's doing okay-ish. Not like good.
顽强不屈，
But the Qin Peacekeeper's holding up. Wow! Liu Cong, you know, I'm always treating her like she's tougher than she is.
准备好了，注意，
But here she gets a nice hit. A fine hit. And, you know, I'm glad once more that
懦夫。
our royal crossbowmen are, you know, shielded. That's why we had them, right? That's why we got them. Because I was like, they will trade well against whatever we have to deal with. And eventually we're even going to get inside. This breach hardly did anything, you know. We could have just cracked the gate at that point. Speaking of, they are about to retake this tower. That's a shame. But Zheng Jiang getting it done there, and now the Protectors of Heaven are streaming in.
加快速度，
Liu Cong just so tough, right? So bold. I think she finally just lost her horse.
好准备，跑起来，
时机已至，尽情厮杀，做好准备，快速前进，惩治敌军。
加快脚步，
But crucially, the Qin Royal Guard, you know, I think I like it better than the Palace Crossbowmen. Although the Palace Crossbow, you know, I don't.
敌军士
I
兵
think I
正
really
在
like
溃
the
逃
Qin Royal Guard, right? That shield makes a huge difference. Just a huge difference. Because if you can stand up and trade with other crossbows, you know, that's a pretty nice proposition. And we're going to try to push through here.
不要留情，
将领不幸阵亡，守住
The
阵线，
Zheng falls, and our people flip out.
准备就绪，加快脚步。
I'm not going to act like I didn't know that could happen there. I figured, you know.
准备就绪，在，
Look at the bones. She, of course, is doing a truckload of work everywhere she goes. And to imagine I thought I might have lost this. I mean, sure, we're beat up. I mean, sure, we're very beat up. But we could have fought a lot more dudes. We still got all our elephants. Nah, we're almost out of ammo after all. But Zheng Jiang doing, you know, 6.8k without Tenacity of Steel even being on. Fallen Oathsworn, you know.
离胜利又近了一步。
And she's like adopted too, right? Yeah, so we get like all the bonuses. But here are the Imperial Gate Guards. Can hardly stand up to the elephants.
敌军仓皇逃窜，一群懦夫。
You know, but they'll try. Speaking of, our elephants are moving a little bit further in this direction than I would have maybe liked, but, you know, no time to worry about that. Only time for Zheng Jiang to do awesome, you know. That's the thing. 59 evasion, you can tell that's juice. That's 35 from the Oathsworn boost, so you get a huge, huge bonus there. And the war elephants charge through. You know, they are very susceptible to towers and the like. What? Glorious victory. You can in fact rename them. Oh, okay. Cool. Cool.
我等威名，如今海内皆知。
You can even rename uniques. Nice.
我用不上他们，天与不取，必受其咎。大人有何吩咐？
Ah, you know, it's right there. You know, it's right there, isn't it? It's probably there all along. Because I never even knew that family tree thing was there.
参见大人。
Either. Yep. You know, I totally didn't even realize you could look at these family trees like that. There you go. Yes, we totally can do a Spartacus. And that's very fun. And also, we can name somebody for you, you know. Is there a strategist we want to call you in this campaign, or do you want to save that for the next one? Is there a picture you like? Keep it banked. Word. It is late in the campaign, right?
"运用智慧吧。保持静默。
定国安民，为了天下苍生。
So now we've got our ultra boosted 50% replen, even though you're not even in the stance. And you know, like when you've got that going on, what are they really gonna do about it?
土地无人，好比人之无魂。 朋友，别来无恙。朋友，别来无恙。
And he's like, but you can't have military access. Come on, man.
朕屈尊与你谈判。
很高兴与你见面。
I'm sure we could, yeah, we could totally mercenary contract here. Because they're at war, and then give those us over there. I mean, it would be better to, like, give them crummy war over here with the Empress Wulie, but, you know.
寇道总比庙堂之上滚滚诸公干净得多。
We already did the spy stuff that turn.
斩尽
We
杀
won the
绝，
thing. And crucially, we see them on this river, which we know is a miserable place to be messing around on. Just so far from anywhere useful. But that's the thing about where we have in Shuna. Like, we know from experience how freaking long it takes to walk from over here to over here. And we get to take full advantage of that, you know? We finally found another wall of the map here. And sweeping through it beautifully.
那就快点吧。
But you know, we've had it with Zheng Jiang. He's had his chances to act right, so we're just gonna not worry about him anymore. He's like, maybe I'll support. No, with Matong, we still need to beat up some more. Oh, whoops. Well, we'll see if Ma Chao takes the fight here. I imagine he will, but here we go. Now we're talking a brawl. Sure, we're defending. That'll make it more fair. Now, the real thing to worry about here, right, is just Xiahou Yun. Cao Wang will do, like, good damage, but Xiahou Yun, that'll be, like, the real killer on the field. And the fact that their people will be very, very fast. Fortunately, we have plenty of infantry here. And an annoying little map for them to be fighting on. just gonna move everybody up, and they're gonna be moving up. We don't want to fight them at the river. We want to make them cross the river and then get shot up as they're trying to get through it, right? But we've got some real hitters here too, so you know, it may be that they've bitten off a little bit more than they wanted to chew on. We shall see. I'm sure they feel fine about it. After all, they took this fight, which is just the sort of confidence that we want them to have. Now, they can quite easily catch us. And that's without them even having a speed boost. We just want these guys to be here then. And when we cross into this arc, you know, we're going to already be getting the fire onto them. Looks like they're going to sweep this way principally. More of our reinforcements will come in here, so we'll sort of rotate to the right with the fire. Is my man really trying to brawl? I can't think that's a super good idea, because, like, on this charge, we're probably going to just pop them, right? And their calf can't stand up to it, and the yellow turban comes out and says, I know you're a sentinel, but I bet this will be okay. And right into the Adamant Resolve, we try to hit her with this ability. I think it wore off right in time, and we do. We get her down to 7 morale. I don't think it'll be quite enough to make her fall off, though, but that is okay. So all we want is to pull more of them into action here, right? Fire at will. Alright, they've got a missile block going on here, but that's not going to avail them too much. Headhunter onto the blob here. Getting caught out. Oh, wow! Zhao Huyun. Either that or it was the shock cavalry. Could have been either one. But we're going to want to get over here. Get a mending on, not on the guy who needs it most, but on somebody else. And our headhunters are not fighting. Man, oh man, you know, they, it's pretty annoying how good sentinels are at dueling, even when you say at the start, I know they're a sentinel, as if that should insulate you from being annoyed. But we need to be careful with these Oathsworn situations. But I guess maybe we're just gonna have to soak whatever happens. Because the thing about this cav is they are getting deleted. And we're gonna mark a scorn on Sao Long here. Yeah, there we go. Brutal. we gave him that look. What we want to do now is push our heroes right through the back onto the archers. And, you know, crucially, because of our yellow cav being very, very tanky, you know, the fact that we sort of move them into these bad positions is fine. You want to duel me? Very well, I accept. Puncheon fears nobody. We're just gonna let this sentinel fall and maybe somebody's sworn to him. He's level 4, he'll be okay. Crucially, our backline pressure works perfectly. It doesn't take much to pressure off a backline in this day and age, right? They're hardly what they used to be made out of.
敌军仓皇逃窜，以其懦夫。
And they're fighting in the river. That's very stylish. I love that. I love a non-traditional fighting space. But importantly, here we have what, you know, what really constitutes the amazing part of big battles for you as a player, and the bad part for them as, you know, the enemy, which is if you have enough of a force to win the first 2 army clash, then all of their troops are, you know, since they're running off, you have plenty of time to regroup, which is good, you know, makes sense too, you know. They're trying to regroup, and you don't need to regroup because you are grouped, but you know, they've got to come from so far away, so you get to wait, you get to get fresh while they're moving, you know, you get to reposition your dudes, and, you know, get a little bit of a breather, very crucial. Let those headhunters leave.
敌军四散而逃。
I'm like, let's get them the surge. And he gets to use his knowledge of the mind, and of course he's already healing again. Speaking of healing again, we all can heal, so let's all get in here and do that. This is the best part of the battle, right? Where they're all fleeing, and you get to get all of your guys ready for more. And when you have healers, which of course you don't always in this game, but we do, suddenly all of those beat-up strategists, you know, it's a little easier to see things how you want to see it. Get the heal there, and I'm pretty sure his heal is a whole different thing. And indeed, both heals roll simultaneously for a very amazing boost in life. And of course, with the Inspiring Surge, we'll be able to get this rolling before too long. And he wants to try his luck against the Yellow Turban as well. Very well, I accept. Now that he's healed up, he's ready for action once more. They say Zhombe. That's where they're from. Because I'm pretty sure...
跑起来！快快快！动作快点！
Yeah, you can throw mending on during a duel, which is pretty good.
顽强不屈！
Because it also gives them the melee evasion boost. Most abilities you can't use while a general's in a duel. But yeah, that's awesome.
准备开战！
And of course, these reinforcements are lots of peasants and such. Which is hardly going to stand up to our White Wave horsemen.
时机已至，不要留情，做好准备，注意，进攻！跑步，攻击敌军，提兵准备，注意，逃兵在我身边，不要留情，快跑，准备好了，杀！杀光敌军！赶快，赶快！奋力一击！挺住，做好准备。
And everybody is trying to get this sentinel. So P thought he was doing well, but this, you know, Han Xian he's wily, you know. He is a wily guy. And he wins a handful of duels for the battle, looking none the worse for the wear. And now he's recovering again, you know. He says, does anybody else want to brawl?
溃不成军，进军，片甲不留，挺住，尽情厮杀，
Guoxia
准备
is now on his way out as well. We're just gonna pull over here.
太平卫士，片甲不留，时机已至，注意，诛灭
A beautiful battle here, and exactly what we wanted right out of this theater of war, which was one huge, decisive
四散而逃，
battle
到底
in
是
the
无人
north
鼠辈。
against, you know, the heir to the kingdom and a whole bunch of other guys to demonstrate to them that they had absolutely no business trying to take the north in the first place.
准备就绪，
The north belongs to the free people of the north. And their champion, Han Xian the healer. And we even used our healing stuff a couple of times, which makes me feel very proud of myself indeed. For all that I talk up how much I want to use them, sometimes I just don't.
正义必胜。
But they end up very beat up indeed. Samus said you probably should have just confederated them. It's more interesting. Well, you know, it's good to do things a little different, right? It'll make it much more memorable. Yuishin, you'll probably join me before too long.
对他们严加处罚，他们颇为不义。
Because now, you know, they tried to take that fight. Those armies are toast. And the other ones they have north of the river are, you know, buttered bread, whatever makes the metaphor work. Ma Chao is going to hit the King of Korea here. Are they going to bring reinforcements to it? That's the worry. Because we just accidentally moved too far forward with them. Say started quickly into war with Yongfeng. Backtrack to Yuflo to save Gogon. You know, the nephew, he's a good guy. Main war his that Cao Cao beats you to check on. How historical. Oof, yeah, they did bring all 4 of the forces here.
撤！
Fortunately, one of the people here is our spy. Yikes. Well, Well, this is certainly going to be a battle. I do have to go to bed. When we return, though, this will be a quite one to do, right? You know, we've got... They don't have that much cav. It's good cav, but they don't have that much of it. And we've got enough to counter it. We have, you know, very strong units. We don't have our crazy jacked stats, but, you know... They're twice as good at fighting as our enemies is. Pongdo's here, of course, and he's super scary. The real thing is that we need to make sure that the headhunters get their work in before they want to run. And then, of course, there's the Ma Chao is here. And Ma Teng is not a slouch at fighting either. With the big old green axe, you know, he'll hit hard at least. But Ma Chao is... And Pongdo's here too. So, and, you know, the Oathsworn and family thing. There's a lot of worries going on, but hey. We walked right into it. You know, he is from Korea, and maybe he wouldn't have understood exactly what he was walking into. We've got our crummy bows, and these guys have shields too, so that'll be good, you know. We'll be able to, you know, start it up a bit. When we do, you know, we'll, you know, take our shots at the hunters, or, I mean, the red cav, that'll be the thing to do, of course. But, alright, yeah. It is time to go to bed. So that I can wake up in the morning and play some more of this. No, I'm not sure what I'll play tomorrow. But this was a great time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed. I know I did. Good night, Luke. And anyone else who might be watching in the future. You know, hope you enjoyed the long chronicle of this war, which, you know, I'm not sorry that they can't abdicate, right? I'm not sorry about that, because, like, what if Cao Cao wanted to abdicate, like, now? Like, it'll be a much more interesting story, you know, as we push him across the river, and he gets a little time to regroup, you know, he tries to get more quality troops as we, like, come in around and have our uneasy geographic barriers, and that's fun too, you know. It's fun using the rivers as buffer areas. I like that, you know, which is just what we did in our last campaign to force the big battle against Wu. You know, you put them into a position where they think they can get an advantage by putting themselves at a disadvantage, actually, and it makes you feel clever even though they're a computer, or at least it does to me. But anyway, speaking of clever, we'll see if we'll see what happens in this fight. I think we can win it, but that doesn't mean we will. We don't have hardly any ranged units to speak of, right? Which does mean there's nothing to defend. I guess that's the most important thing about this army as we go into the fight, is there's just one crossbow. So what we need to focus on is, you know, well, actually, we do get a good amount of trees, so that's the key, you know. We'll be fighting in the trees and taking advantage of that and hoping that we don't get burned down. Which, Hualongli absolutely will burn them down, but I think in general that'll be the way to go, you know. We'll get the bonus for it. We don't have tree penalties, so we'll be fighting there, and that'll hopefully that will get us what we need. But anyway, that's all for right now. Good night.